while protecting all of us. If you know anyone who needs help, call 216-400-9000.
The worldwide leader lives in Cleveland. This is ESPN 850 WKNR, Cleveland. Welcome to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Live from Browns training camp in Berea, Ohio. Here are your hosts, Beau Bishop and Nathan Zegura.
All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Beau. He is the great Z, who until moments ago, literally seconds ago, on the private Zoom, shirtless, living.
Let's go.
Bold. What's wrong?
Go.
What's the problem?
We're
September
just locked
1st.
in. We're locked
Still in summer.
I'm in the gym. I'm working out. I'm doing the written word. Let's go. Plus, chaos is going on all over the place. Nobody knows what's happening.
We have certainly reached.
It's September
2020,
final quarter of the year.
It is September. Football will be played in this month. It will be played very soon for us. It is crazy. I was about an hour ago. I was talking to a buddy, and all of a sudden I got a message that the president tweeted that he's going to save Big Ten. We're on the goal line. Big Ten season is going to be saved. And I'm thinking to myself, if I told 2008 me that the president of the United States, Donald Trump, was going to save the Big Ten football season from despair in 2020, I would have said, well, that seems like a long way to go.
As the president.
It's a big stretch.
Right. Yeah,
right.
There are
President
a lot of
Donald Trump is going to save the Big Ten. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. But that's where you stand on this fine September 1st, my friend. Lots to get to on the program today. You'll hear from Coach Stefanski, hear from Joe Bitonio as well. Lots going on around the league as, honestly, you're starting to really ratchet it up here and get after it when it comes to football being played. Talking about 9 days for the Chiefs and the Texans opening this thing up, so that's very, very exciting. We've got some fun lists to go over. You'll hear from Harrison Bryant as well. And that is where we start today, as Harrison Bryant was named the Browns' Maurice Bassett Award winner for Standout Training Camp Performance. The award is voted on by the media and goes annually to the Browns' top-performing rookie at training camp. You know what's interesting about this? He no doubt deserves the award. We've talked about him constantly. He's been the shining star. But Nick Harris would also deserve quite a bit of recognition in this spot as well. And certainly without the injury, Grant Delpit would have been somebody who would have been having a camp that was worthy of this type of consideration. This class has played very, very, very well in their first camp.
I was going to say Jordan Elliott has made a ton of plays and certainly would be somebody that would deserve to be in the discussion normally. And Jedrick Wills playing left tackle. But Nick Harris, I think the compliment is that people probably aren't even thinking about him, and that's the compliment, right? It's perfect in a sense for an offensive lineman at his position, certainly at center, to just go under the radar, unnoticed, unappreciated. We certainly appreciate him on this program, but Nick Harris would be right there. Harrison Bryant does think, looks, it's much easier to draw your eyes, especially when you're not truly playing football the majority of the time, to guys who are running and catching the football. I mean, that's just a much easier standout position, and Harrison Bryant has been a standout at a standout position. And that room, in fact, I would say, is probably the standout room. Austin Hooper, I think you certainly can make the case, would win an award for the best player, not a rookie. Harrison Bryant has won the Maurice Bassett Award.
Right there with Odell and Kareem, certainly.
Odell, Kareem, Nick Chubb, Denzel. I mean, a lot of talent certainly out here. But then you look at and think about that.
It's interesting. Best room.
Definitely the best room. I don't think it's close.
Running back is in the conversation when they're all there because of how good the top end is there.
Great.
Dearness has been great. Yeah, running back I would think would be the one that would give it the biggest run for its money.
Yeah,
but I think probably cemented your comment and validating it was the chief over the weekend.
Yeah.
That getting him back. Then you went, oh my God, that's right. The Chief's here too.
Yeah. And he's a guy who almost had 700 yards 2 years ago, and he's 6'4", 260, runs like a gazelle and can jump
Sunday
out of the
performance. Yeah, that Sunday performance out of the Chief, I think, probably cemented best position group. I agree with you.
Yeah, they've been right there, so it's certainly no surprise. But Harrison Bryant is deserving of all those accolades, and you wonder. I think he's carved out a role for himself. How big that role will be?
Yep.
Look, you've got Austin Hooper, and you still have the Chief. And I realize there's a segment of Twitter out there that is ready to move on from the Chief. No, not ready. Not us. We aren't doing that. Keep the talent here. We can use 3 tight end sets, a lot of 2 tight end sets. There's going to be so much involvement and utilization for that position, not to mention what Pharaoh Brown has shown, and Steve Carlson competing, obviously, for a spot has shown. So, yeah, I think it's been a standout room. Defensively, if you were saying, I would say the defensive tackle room, because Sheldon's been great. He just goes underappreciated. Elliott's been great. Eli Anku has been great. And Larry Ogunjobi, when healthy, has been very, very good.
The one thing I would add to that, though, and it's despite, I would say the corners, the secondary in general,
sure,
despite the rash of injuries, Joe Woods can coach some secondary because
there's no doubt.
You think about that day, a week ago Wednesday, when you're playing without corners 1 through 5, and you put up that performance. You think about what Money Mitch has been, how solid he has been. The secondary is, that's probably too big as it's not really a position group, but corners or safeties, whichever way you want to go. But I think the cornerback play has been outstanding in camp.
I couldn't agree anymore. There have been a lot of bright spots in camp. The linebackers, I'd say, relative to expectations, have certainly been a very good room. Your defensive end room has been good with Vernon and Claiborne and Miles and Porter Gustin stepping up the way he has. There's been a lot of positivity. The hard part is we haven't seen it against anybody else. And normally in a preseason game, and we know, believe me, we know Browns fans, preseason records and outcomes don't matter. But in the moments when you see your guys out there that are supposed to be playing, you at least get a little bit of a sense, and you see if guys who have been all Berea, if that translates against non-Browns competition.
That's right. I miss that. I'm sure you do,
so
too,
do I.
as who pay attention to the middle and the bottom of the roster. I miss that. I miss getting our first look at a rookie against real competition and getting to see back-end guys play. I know a lot of people poo-poo the preseason. I am not one of them. I enjoy it. Certainly there are some parts of it that become long, and I don't know that you need 4 of those games. But I love the first, second, and third preseason game. I'm not crazy about the fourth, but the first, second, and third I think are great. And I think there's a lot you can take from it. I think it's good to flex against somebody other than yourself. And I think one thing that I've kind of feel about this is I think it's necessary to play a little bit of preseason. I think it's necessary, and I think it's going to be that stance will be exacerbated when you get to games that count, because I think you're going to have some really sloppy football the first few weeks of this season across the league.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's just going to be sloppy tackling. I mean, you have to expect it. Think about even at First Energy Stadium, we got very excited. Dontrell Hilliard had a nice run where he spun out of a tackle. D'Ernest had the great run, and then also the catch and run, and Hunt. Tackling people was still tough. We saw some good tackles, some really good tackles. There was one on, I think it was Robert Jackson, who tackled Donovan Peoples-Jones, or maybe it was Tavier Thomas. It was one of those corners and put a very nice tackle on those guys. So there is going to be definitely some sloppiness, and I think tackling is where you're going to see it first and foremost, which, again, I think plays into the Browns' hands. It also plays into their Week 1 opponents' hands, the Baltimore Ravens, who are going to put the ball on the ground with very talented players carrying it repeatedly.
There's one team that has perfected it, and that's Baltimore. Like, they're going to run downhill at you for the entire season, and they'll do it in myriad ways, and they have everybody back. So, unfortunately, that challenge Week 1 is going to be a very substantial one. Speaking of good news, more of it here. Mack Wilson, if you pay attention to the scores, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but now finalizing that. No surgery for Mack, could be back as little as 4 to 6 weeks. Again, scores.
Scores, yeah. We let you know to feel comfortable about Mack, but could be back, I would say to me, as early as, week 2, 3, 4, 5 of the season. But certainly this is not going to keep him out. He will be here in the first half of the season back with the Browns, as Coach Stefanski said, in only the way that he can. Quote, this is a good development. Yes, a very good development there. We do not have an idea yet about of J.C. Treader, and we'll see if he can return to practice this week or next week to decide if he can play in the opener. And the other injury front is that Myles Garrett wrist, Greedy Williams shoulder will return to practice today. Or he's saying that they're truly day-to-day. We'll take it as it goes when he was asked if they'd return to practice today. But he said with Garrett, it's really just an abundance of caution. There is nothing to worry about.
So I that's the way you gather it, too, that Miles is basically in bubble wrap because so much. You've already lost, what you wanted to do on the back end with Delpit. And the loss of Miles would be borderline catastrophic. We saw that last year, and we know what happened once he was no longer with us, which was obvious. And so you want to make sure that he can be there because he's obviously an enormous part of what you're going to do defensively and the pressure that he can create. Grady's it's troubling. I mean, it was an injury-plagued season last year. Starting off this year, he's been out for a while now, and no real end to that in sight day-to-day, truly, as Coach said. But I do think concern is the right word a little bit there with Greedy Williams. One of the names that we talked about a lot was Logan Ryan. That deal is now off the table. We had hypothesized, Z, this was one where we didn't have the scores right, that this would be a $10, $11, $12 million situation for Logan Ryan. It was not that. It was 1 year, $7.5 million, very affordable. It's somebody that we thought made a lot of sense here. Instead, he decides to go home. We don't know how far we went down the road with him, but what we do know is that is a number that, to me, would have been very acceptable.
Well, especially with $3.5 million coming off of your books from Andrew Billings as he opted out of the season. So it really would have been, you think about from that standpoint, a $4 million deal for Logan Ryan.
Yep.
The Giants' offer, according to reports, was the best offer that he received. He wanted $10-11 million. That obviously didn't materialize for him. He did not want to wait, and he chooses to go to the Giants. And I think for who lost Xavier McKinney, and I think for the Browns, this is one that you could look back at this and say, yeah, I wish we did have Logan Ryan out there.
Yeah.
Because of his versatility and the fact that he would most closely mirror being able to do the things for Joe Woods that you thought Grant Delpit was going to do for you. And so not bringing him in, obviously, is a little bit tough. I think you are thin on the back end of this defense. I'd say the entire back seven is now thin. While Mack is out, Delpit is not coming back. Then you've got 3 guys who have played in the NFL and 2 guys who are undrafted free agent rookies in your safety room. As of today,
Yep.
And JT Hassel's been there as well, but more of a strong safety type player, more of a special teams guy. That's a little concerning to me, and it changes what you're going to do. Now, do we see, now that we're not there, does some of the cross-training that we had talked about with a guy who's got size like a Donovan Olumba, do you try to get Money Mitch on the field in some of these roles? Things that aren't for general consumption that we're going to do in the season that we want to wait on, and we have no idea, and we're not there anymore.
No.
But that's where perhaps there is a plan inside that they feel really good about that just isn't being shared so that they can have some type of a competitive advantage from that when they do debut it on Sundays that count.
Knowing AB and Kevin, I would think you could book that they are always prepared and planned. So I'm guessing that you're exactly part of the 2 of the 3 Ps. Yeah,
that's
absolutely. Right. Lots to get to on the program today. You'll hear from Harrison Bryant. You'll hear from Joel Bitonio. We'll go around the league. Some big stories making headlines there. Coming up next, however, you will hear from Coach Stefanski from the podium. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Hi, I'm John. I'm a pharmacist for Discount Drug Mart, but that's not all I am. I'm a healthcare provider, good listener, and a problem solver. I've been a pharmacist for Drug Mart for over 30 years. And that's a long time to get to know your patients. And each week we hear as many concerns as there are patients. Just the other day, I special ordered a medication for Mrs. Briscoe, just to make sure she didn't miss a dose. I'm proud that our patients trust me with their pharmacy needs, and I promise that Discount Drug Mart will always be there for you.
Families and team members depend on their players to be healthy and ready to play. When a family member gets injured, it can be a real game changer, leaving a family without a key player.
The best game plan can be found in a place where trust is earned and help is given. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO and let us help you get back in the game. Elk & Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Browns.
At University Hospitals, your health and safety have always come first. UH Safe shows that commitment in action. Social distancing in all shared spaces, screening everyone who enters for symptoms or fever, and more. UH Safe means if you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get care at University Hospitals. UH Safe, protecting your health with science and compassion. University Hospitals. Visit uhhospitals.org.
Ohio Cat and the Cleveland Browns Foundation have teamed up to support shoes and clothes for kids to help Cleveland students by providing them with basic clothing, hygiene items, and school supplies to start the school year strong in a remote learning environment. Log on to clevelandbrowns.com/supply drive now to make a monetary donation. The Browns Foundation will match up to $50,000 in donations made through September 12th, and Ohio Cat will provide school supplies for 5,000 students. Log on to clevelandbrowns.com/supply drive, clevelandbrowns.com/supply drive, and support Cleveland students.
Browns fans, you can now train like the pros at Browns Fit. Our 20,000 square foot state-of-the-art fitness facility is open. Browns Fit creates a safe and healthy environment for members and guests that showcases the latest in innovative fitness technology, plus personal training, a nutrition bar, and more. Located in the flats of downtown Cleveland on the second floor of the A-Loft Hotel. Specials for Browns Fit are available for a limited time. So visit us at brownsfit.com today to become a member and train like the pros.
Cooking is hard. Delivery's easy. So order takeout or delivery at BuffaloWildWings.com or through the new Buffalo Wild Wings app and get award-winning wings in over 24 sauces and seasonings delivered hot, fresh, and straight to your house. Because if you want wings, you should eat wings. Order takeout or delivery from Buffalo Wild Wings today or from their delivery partners, DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. And eat what you really want. Wings at home. Subject to availability.
You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
All right, welcome back to CBD on the first day of September in the year of our Lord 2020. Help Cleveland students start the school year off strong. Log on now to clevelandbrowns.com/supply drive to make a monetary donation to the Shoes and Clothes for Kids Remote Learning Back to School Drive. Proudly brought to you by Ohio Cat and the Cleveland Browns Foundation. Just moments ago, our coach, Kevin Stefanski, addressed the media in his daily press conference. Let's have a listen.
There's some reports over the last couple of days that Mack Wilson will not need surgery. Is that the case?
Yeah, I can confirm that. He's not going to get surgery.
Great. What kind of a relief is that then, Kevin, to know that he's going to be back here at some point for you?
I think, Tom, with all of our guys, I mean, you hate to see him go out, and then you hope that it's always good news when they do go out, and Joe sidles over to me and whispers in my ear, I always hope it's good news. So this is a good development for Mac.
And if I could ask you just on injuries in general, Kevin, you guys have had some really bad luck here. But was there more of a concern about them given what this offseason was or wasn't as far as guys training and things like that?
Yeah, we were very mindful as we put the plan together about that very sentiment and wanted to make sure that we did this safely and had an acclimation period. And also we fully recognize that injuries are part of this game.
Hey, Coach, I'm just wondering, what's on the to-do list this week? This is your last week of, camp before you have to get into that week one mode and prepare for the Ravens. So what do you hope to accomplish over the next 4 days?
Yeah, Darryl, I think we wrapped up install last week. So now we're really streamlining our systems on offense, defense, and special teams. I think now that we're a month into it, we have a pretty good handle at what our players are good at, what they can handle. So we'll, on offense, defense, special teams, we'll start implementing some schemes that we think could be good for us in the first couple weeks of the season.
And this is such a tough year for undrafted rookie free agents, just because of everything that's gone on. Could you touch on that? And then also, has there been anyone from that pool that you guys brought in this offseason that has stood out over these last 3 weeks?
Yeah, Darryl, I won't single anyone out. I'll just tell you we do miss those games from an evaluation standpoint, but it's our job to evaluate them in individual period, in 7-on-7 and team period. So we feel pretty confident that we're getting a good evaluation on all of these young guys, but they are at a disadvantage without those games.
Hey, Kevin, we just talked to Jacob Phillips, and he's saying, I'm not nervous. I feel prepared. I feel ready. I feel like I've gained a lot of confidence in this training camp. Do you see that when you watch him out on the field? Does he look like a guy who has really grown a lot these last few weeks with you guys and somebody you guys rely on here, early in the season of his rookie year?
Yeah. Jacob, he runs around. He wants to see ball, get ball. And I think he's built athletically to go do that. And like every other rookie at every other position, probably with every other team, it's not perfect. So there's a growing period to this, and I think he's made strides each and every day he's been out there on the grass.
Hey, Coach, the media voted Harrison Bryant the top rookie in training camp. Could you just give your assessment of how he's done come along?
Yeah, Harrison's done a nice job. To his credit, he really, really is a diligent worker, a student of this game. We've moved him around the formation, moved him to different positions, and he hasn't missed a beat. So pleased with where he is, and congrats to him on that award.
Hey, Kevin, I know you said you're going to wait till next week to make the decision on if JC can play against the Ravens. Is he able to do stuff physically? Like, where does his rehab stand?
I'd say he's progressing, Scott, and I think we really want to use every single one of these days to our advantage. And I think the prudent thing would be to wait till next week to really check in to say whether he's going to make it for that first game or not. I'm really worried about him today more so than next week.
Could he be on the field this week?
We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, Kevin, last year was a little bit chaotic for this team. The offseason was chaotic for everyone in the NFL. Yeah, how do you feel about the state of your team at this point with the opener, just a few days away now, and also the leadership that you have gotten from, some of the guys that are leaders on this team?
Yeah, it's been unusual for all of us, and certainly for all the 32 teams. But I think we have the right makeup in our locker room. I think the leadership from a bunch of the guys on the field, in the building, I've seen it, and pleased with where we are right now, and totally recognizing that we have a bunch more to do before we kick off this season.
Hey, Coach, will Myles Garrett and Greedy Williams be back out on the practice field today?
We'll see. They're truly day-to-day, Mary Kay, and we'll kind of take it as it goes.
But you still feel pretty good that Myles is more, like you said, abundance of caution and nothing that anybody would really need to worry about at this point?
Yes.
Yeah, Coach, I just wanted to ask, now that you saw the scrimmage, I assume you've looked at it several times. Is there something that stood out that maybe looked better than it did to the naked eye?
Yeah, I think we played mostly penalty-free on either side, which was good to see. We've been really harping on that a lot without having the games, without having officials right now. So that's something that I thought was good. And like every practice, there's so many things that we can get better at. I thought putting them through some of these situational things was good so that we could talk through some of our adjustments, some of the substitution things that happen in the course of a game. So all of that was really good work, and then I think we'll kind of double down on that this Friday in the stadium as well.
All right, so you got some updates there. We talked about some of this stuff with JC still going to be a week of game situation. Myles, abundance of precaution, and still no end in sight to Greedy, which is again I use the word concerning because I think it is. We're not that far from a game. We haven't seen him on the practice field in a long time. And again, but as I say that, guys, also remember that in a normal pre-pandemic situation, Z and I would be able to see these guys in the building walking around. And You'd have a feel for just their spirits or where they were. You can tell. Just see them walk around in the cafe or whatever. And we don't have that now. So I haven't seen Greedy Williams in the flesh in a while.
Nor have I. And what I would say to you is this: as it relates to Myles Garrett, I have zero concern.
Right.
Say that again. I have zero concern.
Zero. Right.
None. Myles Garrett. It is an abundance of caution. He is going to be fine. As it relates at this point to Greedy Williams, I think that we don't know. He says he's day-to-day. I think Kevin Johnson is close to being back. I think MJ Stewart is close to being back as well for the Browns. The one guy that I would say, though, that, again, I have no concern about it is where Myles Garrett is relative to what he's going to be asked to do immediately in Week 1. I think he's going to be fine to go out there and to be ready to go as your starting end and be exactly what we want him to be. I'm not worried about. Greedy, you do want to see out there. And listen, we're not going to get to see these guys out there until Friday. And then after Friday, we're not going to know until they have to put out an official injury report for week 1, which I think comes Wednesday or Thursday of that week. So this is not a time where there's going to be a ton of that quote-unquote information coming. I do think, though, what you're hearing about Myles Garrett is right, and there are 0 issues. This is Myles Garrett, if we were playing today, would be playing without question and would be playing at a high level.
Do you think, I'm not asking you to just in your head, do you think that J.C. Tretter would be this close when we first found out that he had the surgery, that it would still be lingering out there, to be this close to the opener?
No, I did not think that would be the case at all. It is. I think that for Nick Harris, getting every single rep has been incredibly valuable and will, I think, allow him to fill in admirably if that's what is called upon. But no, I don't think we knew this. JC, I know, is working hard. Listen, the guy hasn't missed a snap here, and I've seen JC Tretter play and play at a high level under circumstances where I thought there was 0 chance he would play. I remember him coming off the sideline a couple of years ago in Cincinnati, and if you could have gone to the proverbial window and said, well, with inside information of being 5 feet away from him and hearing him and looking at him, that he would continue playing that game and be good, you could have bet the farm against it, and he did it anyway. So I don't count J.C. Tretter out ever, because I've seen situations with my own 2 eyes where you would say, okay, there's no chance he's playing anymore, and he did. So I think if J.C. Tretter is able to get out there, he will. I think that they also know now that they've got a backup in Nick Harris that is very much so capable, and that you do not need to put J.C. in a situation that could potentially be risky to him to prolong his absence.
You've mentioned this a couple of times, and just so that our fans have an idea, you've mentioned Friday. So that's Friday at the stadium. What is that going to be? I know Browns Live will be out there for that. I've got the DVR set, but what will that be, and what do we hope to get out of that one? Because that'll be the last time really we see him, then it's game week.
What I'm expecting it to be, I don't know that we'll see live tackling, 9 days before the kickoff of the season. But I think what you'll see is a good practice. But I think more of it is going to be the run-through for potentially. Again, I have no idea. This is total These are not scores to be paid attention to as they normally would be. This is my speculation. I think it's going to be some type of a run-through for First Energy Stadium, but also for the team. We haven't gone in and had a halftime and come back out of a halftime. We haven't gone through any of those types of game day actual, operational things. The coaches up in the booth, the guys on the sideline, the communication, none of that. Right. You have all of that for preseason games usually. You have none of that. Right. So I think that will be in an NFL stadium, our stadium, getting the stadium ready for Thursday night is the opener 4 days, September 17th against Cincinnati, and it will be also getting the team ready and the communication, just everything that they would have to go through on a Sunday that they haven't experienced yet.
It's true. I mean, you think about preseason games for the players, but they're for the facilities people as well, and there's to make sure that there are no kinks, and so those things have to happen, and you'll get a look at that on Friday. All right, coming up next, Z working on something for the written word that we're going to turn into a little fun here on the radio. So some standouts, starters, playing time, roster spots, who is standing up. We will take a look at that a little bit later in the hour. We will go around the league. Some big headlines there. We continue here, Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance, where you only pay for what you need. Today's forecast calls for clear skies, slight winds coming out of the northeast, and customized car insurance from Liberty Mutual, so you only pay for what you need.
Want to turn your old, rusty hunk of junk in for a nicer ride, but think it's not even worth a tank of gas? Think again. Progressive Jeep Ram will give you $5,000 for your trade, no matter the condition. That's right, $5,000 for any trade, guaranteed. When you buy any factory-certified pre-owned car, truck, or sport utility at Progressive Jeep Ram in Massillon. Needs repairs? No problem. Any rusty, smelly, noisy hunk of junk gets you $5,000 guaranteed. guarantee. $5,000 could help you get approved. No other dealer will give you $5,000 for your cruddy car, but Progressive Jeep Ram will, guaranteed. Get $5,000 for your trade only at Progressive Jeep Ram. One trade per purchase. Offer applies to Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram certified vehicles only. Does not apply to prior transactions and cannot be combined with any other advertised offers. See dealer for details. Ends September 30th, 2020. Get $5,000 for your trade only at Progressive Jeep Ram in Massillon.
If you have a passion for sports, the Ohio Media School Cleveland can prepare you for a career. They offer day and evening classes and financial aid for those who qualify. Call now, 216-503-5900. That's 216-503-5900, or visit beonair.com.
Hey, it's Chris Holdak. Join me and Tony Grossi for Let's Go Golfing Saturday morning at 8. This week's featured course, Brookledge Golf Course. We'll have our full review and much more. It's all presented by Michelob Ultra.
Visit LibertyFord.com for your vehicle service. And if you are in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle,
Liberty's in Aurora, Maple Heights, Canton, Parma Heights, Brunswick, Vermilion.
Hey, it's Riz for the team at Extend Technologies. With everything happening across every sports league right now, seeing us fans can't attend in person, no better time to be investing in a better at-home setup. Face it, the best seat you can get this year is on your couch. Let Extend help you take your setup to the next level. They can help with home automation systems, including a wide array of home theater offerings. An Extend Technologies showroom and design center is open, but they're still offering virtual sales consultations too. Go to xtendav.com to check out everything they have to offer.
Hey, Browns fans, the Cleveland Browns 50-50 raffle has gone digital, and it's open online right now. Lucky fans all throughout Ohio can win big during training camp and support youth in our community this year. 50% of the jackpot goes to the winner, and the other half benefits the Stay in the Game Network and Shoes and Clothes for Kids, a Cleveland-based nonprofit organization. Some exclusions apply. Fans can purchase tickets now via the Browns mobile app or at browns5050.com. The raffle ends September 4th, so get your tickets today.
Hey, what's up? It's Hammer here for NTB. Summer is coming to an end, but the hottest tire deals are just beginning at NTB, with Labor Day savings going on right now through September 7th. Visit NTB, buy 2 tires, get 2 free when you purchase a value installation package on 4 select tires. That is an amazing deal, but that's not all. Use your NTB store credit card, and you'll get an additional $75 mail-in rebate on purchases of $500 or more. That's right. Visit NTB this Labor Day. Buy 2 tires, get 2 free, plus $75 back after rebate. Summer just got a whole lot hotter with these Labor Day savings, so hurry into your neighborhood National Tire and Battery today. Eligibility may vary. Charge for tire disposal and TPMS service where required. Shop fee of 10% based on regular retail price, not to exceed $35. Credit card offers subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. See participating store for details.
Game time. Hustler.
For contest rules information for 850 ESPN Cleveland, please visit ESPNClevelandContests.com. That's ESPNClevelandContests.com for contest rules and information.
This is J.C. Treader of the Cleveland Browns, and you're listening to the home of the Browns, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily on a Tuesday edition of the program. Beau Bishop here for my friends at Raising Cane's, opening this month in North Olmsted on Brook Park Road, right behind Great Northern Mall. Raising Cane's looking to grow their crew, currently holding interviews at their North Olmsted location. Apply on-site now through September 13th. Monday through Friday, 12 to 6, or Saturday and Sunday, 12 to 4. You can interview on-site, get a free Cane's box combo card. Make it in to apply. Text 97211. If you can't get in there, text 97211. Raising Cane's, home of the fresh, never frozen chicken fingers at Raising Cane's. They're all about quality, so they hire the best. Raising Cane's, one love. All right, you're dipping into the written word, one of your many passions. You do this all, all of this is compensation without. Just for passion is the reason that you do this. Pro bono work, if you will. You're just passionate for writing, and it comes across every time I read it. I weep. I'm not alone. Walt Whitman does as well, among others.
I like to put on my Thomas the Tank Engine robe, sit down in my writing chair, and just get to work and just dial in, lock in.
just really get it done. All right, so the idea here is offensively and defensively, and this is fantastic. I'm glad that I gave you this little nugget. I said that, here's something you could use as the written word. Maybe if you take a starter, a playing time, and a roster spot, one player at each offense and defense who have really stood out, and you ran with it. I mean, I'm an idea man. I thrive on enthusiasm, but I need the worker bees to get this stuff done. Right. And in this case,
the grunts. The grunts.
I couldn't even deliver that line with a straight face.
So good. So great.
Worker piece to get it done.
And guess what? So I really enjoyed this assignment. So, all right. Let's go. And it's helping us today.
Folks, I'm looking at Z on this.
Jibbe's out. We're running amok.
We're running amok. I'm looking at Z on this our private Zoom as we're having this segment. It's priceless. Priceless. All right. So the idea has been laid out, and now we have it, and let's go offense. Should we start with the starter or the roster spot? Which way? Do you want to start at the top and go down?
We'll go starter,
or the bottom,
competing for playing time, and then, the roster spot,
all right.
Which is probably
Let's start on the offensive side of the ball, and your starter, sir.
My starter who stood out to me had to be, Austin Hooper. I think that you truly could make an argument that this could have been Odell Beckham. It could have been Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Jarvis. The guys who are the stars have looked like stars while they've been out there. But I don't think anybody has stood out the way Hooper did. It was from day one. The chemistry with Baker was on full display. He was everywhere. He catches everything. He's a back-to-back Pro Bowler, and it looks to me like he's going to be the third. And I think so many people were saying, well, look at what Rudolph and Irv Smith put up last year. That's because they didn't have a tight end that was this kind of a player. There's a reason the Browns made him at the time the highest paid tight end in the NFL, and were so heavily invested in getting his services, because he's going to be a focal point of this offense. And I think Baker Mayfield would tell you, I'm at my best when I have a tight end that I love. You go back to Oklahoma with Mark Andrews. Well, David Njoku 2 years ago when the Chief was playing well. Well, now he's got the Chief, and he's got Austin Hooper. So I think Hooper would be there, and I mentioned that Beckham Jr., Nick Chubb, and Kareem Hunt all easily could be getting this nod as well.
It was so cool to just see stars be stars. And in the 2 weeks that we were able to watch, the stars were stars, especially offensively. They shine very, very, very bright. All right, in terms of fighting for playing time offensively.
So fighting, in the way that I kind of thought about this, was somebody that, you didn't come in with a clearly defined, prominent starting role. That it wasn't, your role was not that clearly defined nor assumed. And so I gave this to the guy who just won the Maurice Bassett Award, and that's Harrison Bryant. And I think that, it was you could say, as I said, the tight end room has been great, from Hooper, as my first one, now Bryant as the second one. And, you think about how he came out and he got into the groove with backup quarterback Case Keenum, those red zone drills. I mean, you have to go back to him making back-to-back plays in the red zone, the second of which, unfortunately, he fell on Kevin Johnson. That's how long ago Harrison Bryant's been making plays. I mean, it's been from the rip, and then he earned opportunities with the one, plus David Njoku was out with that wrist injury, and he just continued to shine. And I thought the most telling was the day we weren't there because of the inclement weather. He moved it inside into the field house, and every highlight that came out, there was one Odell Beckham highlight, and then there were about seven that were all Baker Mayfield to Harrison Bryant, making play after play after play after play. And, he's a guy that you probably didn't expect to have a role. The Browns never expected even to draft him, and yet here he is, and he will have a role. How big it is, I don't know. Again, the rumors of the Chiefs' demise so greatly exaggerated. The Chief is going to play a big role. You've got Hooper, as I mentioned. There's a lot of talent in that room, period.
There is. He's a really easy athlete. He's very fluid in his route running. He's somebody who is always kind of where he needs to be.
Yes.
I don't know how to explain it, but it's like he always he finds space very easily. He gets to a place where it's easy. He's a big kid, so you see him. But it just seems like when you think about a tight end in the way that this league has built them before they started to scheme up plays specifically for them, for years and years, it was security blanket is the phrase that was used for tight ends. And he is the ultimate security blanket. If a first read isn't there, you'd see that 88 and you'd go, well, guess who again? And that's in the end zone. That's over the middle. It's everywhere. He just has a knack for getting open.
What a word. That's exactly what I was in my mind to say. He just has a knack for getting open. He has a feel for the soft spots and zones. He knows how to set up his routes to beat man coverage. And he catches everything that's thrown his way.
pretty simple recipe for success when you do those things.
So.
Yeah. All right. Final category here, roster spot on offense.
And by the way, in the competing for playing time group, I put Nick Harris in here. I realize that he's been as a starter, but I think based on your expectations for his performance level, he got an honorable mention for me. Kaderl Hodge, I think, would get an honorable mention, as would Donovan Peoples-Jones would be the three. Competing for a roster spot. Let's see if you can tell me my answer.
I'm sorry, hit me with that again.
Competing for a roster spot, offensive side of the ball, what's my answer going to be?
Competing for a roster spot. D'Ernest?
That's right, D'Ernest, of course.
Yeah,
but of course, D'Ernest Johnson. And look, running back 1, running back 2, and I'm going to call him running back 1, running back 1, where 1 + 1 = 2 in this case, Chubb and Hunt.
1A,
so
1A.
the only battle is that third spot, and it's Dontrell Hilliard, who's been with the Browns for 2 years, has bigger career stats, and Johnson, who was on the team for all 16 games last year, 92 total yards on 10 touchdowns, played on special teams. But I just think he's been quick. He's been a decisive runner in this offense. He's always a great pass catcher, and I think you watch him and his willingness to compete and to really throw himself into his blocking stands out to me. His toughness. And just he looks good. I just think there's been an acceleration to him. His change of direction has been excellent. And I thought that, he turned the second possession for the second team offense into his own personal showcase highlight reel.
It was.
At First Energy Stadium. You want a chunk run?
It was great.
Here you go. You want to see me catch it and have a chunk reception? Boom. And then you want to get in the red zone, sprint out, and I'm going to go ahead and beat my man to the pylon. Touchdown. I mean, when I saw that, I said, this guy looks like he could be. If you said he was our number 2 back, fine. Looked pretty darn good to me. And so I think D'Ernest Johnson has really, really done a lot. Now, again, it could be the experience of Dontrell Hilliard that gets him, and this is not a knock on Dontrell. I feel like Dontrell has proven in the NFL to be a competent player and a competent third running back for this organization. We've seen it. I just think there's a spark about D'Ernest Johnson, and I think, to use a pun from his time on the fishing boat, I think he really has a chance to reel in a big spot on this roster.
Yep. That's a beautiful job out of you. Let's go to the defensive side of things. Let's go to the starter on defense who has really shined.
Yeah, and just quickly again, honorable mentions, Pharaoh Brown, Steve Carlson, Ratley, because of the performance at First Energy Stadium, coming back, and Alex Taylor, the offensive lineman. Defensively, the starter who has made, to me, stand out from what I expected of him. You could have made the case for B.J. Goodson. I'm going to go next to him because I just think Sione Takitaki's improvement from last year to this year, I think he is the most improved player on this roster, especially in coverage. It just really stood out to me. And there was a real question of, do you have somebody else who can play all 3 downs next to B.J. Goodson with Mac Wilson out? And at the time you would have said, I don't know, maybe we get Carl Joseph down in here and or something. But I think that Sione Takitaki has shown much more comfort in coverage. He's got multiple pass breakups. He has an interception in this camp, and I just think that stood out, that he's been in the right place at the right time much more often than not, whereas last year was probably a little bit, it would have been more of a challenge to say that, and he didn't look comfortable in coverage. That's why he was working on his technique so much. That's why he was sending, when you think he was sending all the videos to his linebacker coach every day. Look at my coverage drops. Look at this technique. Am I doing this correctly? Because he wanted to master this and address something that had really struggled for him.
Yep, no question on that. How about playing time? Who stood out?
In terms of somebody competing for playing time, I said Jordan Elliott here. And I think you could also make the case for Money Mitchell, Eli Anku as well, MJ Stewart, who probably is going to be playing. But, Elliott's a guy that, again, relative to his role, much like Harrison Bryant, when he was initially drafted, and the time that before Andrew Billings had opted out, you said, I don't know if he's going to be, somebody that's going to play a lot as a rookie. We can ease him back, but I think that his ability as not only a pass rusher but a penetrator against the run has stood out. The combination of speed, quickness, and agility, and then closing speed. When he gets that step, he gets to the quarterback or the ball carrier in the blink of an eye, and I think that has been incredibly impressive for me with Jordan Elliott.
All right, finally, and roster spot.
So here I thought Donovan Olumba was the guy, and I think Porter Gustin and Donovan Olumba were the two that stood out, and I've given Gustin probably more of a spotlight in some of the other written word pieces, and so in this case what I wanted to do was go for go for and highlight Olumba, who's really got an opportunity. Does he have can he make this team? I don't know. I don't know how many corners they can take, because one of the other guys in the honorable mention would be A.J. Green, and another one would be Robert Jackson. So you think about this cornerback room, if we're healthy: Denzel, Greedy, Money Mitch, M.J. Stewart, Kevin Johnson if Kevin Johnson's ready, Tavier Thomas. That's 6. Olumba would be 7. A.J. Green would be 8. So do you end up keeping 3 safeties and 7 corners and cross-train somebody there? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, and we're not going to be privy to that stuff. But I think Olumba, he's always there, whether it's covering Odell Beckham Jr., whether it's covering Landry. He's just looked good, and at 6'2", he brings a different size element to that room, and I think he's played like somebody who deserves to be on this roster and be thrown in if you need him in a pinch to play corner.
Yep. Yeah, it's really been impressive. That secondary, as we mentioned earlier, has all been impressive, and certainly chief among them. The way that Woods has handled this has been fascinating.
Yes.
Rash of injuries everywhere, huge guys, and yet still solid. Now, you got to do it when we play teams of the opposing uniform, but still very impressive from what we've seen. We'll hit around the league coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
This segment brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance, where you only pay for what you need. Today's forecast calls for clear skies, slight winds coming out of the northeast, and customized car insurance from Liberty Mutual, so you only pay for what you need.
Hey, it's Riz for Bath R Us. If your bathroom's outdated, has mold, mildew, or you just need a new tub, my friends from Bath R Us design you the bath of your dreams. They offer complete bathroom remodeling services, and it all comes with a lifetime warranty. Walk-in tubs, replacement showers, tub-to-shower conversions, and more. Bath R Us will transform any bathroom to the bathroom of your dreams. Schedule your free in-home estimate and get $1,000 off, plus 18 months same as cash now. Call 440-276-8017 or go to bathrus.com.
And now a Rizzo rant from the sensitive side of Tony Rizzo.
In the midst of COVID, we must take care of ourselves in the good old-fashioned 3-prong attack. Proper diet, exercise, good night's sleep. Our bodies can protect us from illness with some extra Joe Bees. It gives your body the nutrients it needs to perform at an optimal level. Diet, exercise, good night's sleep. That's the Joe B lifestyle. Joe B's.
Call 877-300-5632. That's 877-300-5632. Or order with a money-back guarantee at joebees.com.
Hey, it's Riz for Floors. They're doing something they've never done before. For a limited time, Floors is offering 0% financing for 48 months. That's 4 years. They have something for every home: hardwood, carpet, vinyl, waterproof floor, tile, rugs, more. Plus, top brands like Shaw Floors. When you go with Shaw, you're talking about quality, beauty, and durability. Right now, get 0% financing, 48 months. Some restrictions apply. Just off Route 18 in Copley, 82 in Strongsville across from the mall, or yourfloorswithaz.com.
What's up, it's Hammer with a reminder that when an unexpected orthopedic injury occurs, you might find yourself going to the nearest emergency room for care, but there's a better option. The University Hospital's orthopedic injury clinics provide immediate walk-in and same-day access to a team of orthopedic specialists if you have an injury and it needs immediate attention. UH has 4 orthopedic injury clinics in Northeast Ohio. They'll fast-track your care at Ahuja, Geauga Medical Center, Sheffield Medical Center, the Center for Orthopedics, and Broadview Heights Health Center, open weekdays, 8:30 to 4. For more information, go to uhhospitals.org/orthoinjury.
There's nothing better than listening to the sounds of the ball game on the radio in your new car or truck from Liberty Ford.
Liberty's in Aurora, Maple Heights, Canton, Palmer Heights, Brunswick, Vermilion.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. Here today to remind you that it doesn't make you a bad person. I say it all the time about all kinds of things, so much so that it's become a motto of sorts around here. Did you plant a garden just to grow enough mint to muddle your mojito? It doesn't make you a bad person. You do you, and we won't judge. Tito's Handmade Vodka can be part of a balanced life, and it's 100% gluten-free, so it's easy to stay on track and make fresh, simple cocktails. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Hey, it's Riz for Reed's Jewelry and Loan. Friendly place, welcoming, just a comfortable place to get cash for your jewelry. Demand for jewelry at other pawn shops is low, so it takes them longer to sell it. But Reed's is just jewelry and loan, so they'll pay you more for your jewelry because it's more valuable to them. Reed's allow people more time than the law requires to pay off their loan. Get a $1,000 loan for $66 a month in 5 minutes with a valid ID. Tell them Riz sent you and get 10% more on your loan. Find Reed's today, downtown, 14th and St. Clair.
Hey, it's Emmett, and you're listening to the home of the Browns, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
All right, let's go around the league. Several things to get to here. Chief among them, Derwin James will need surgery. We had this yesterday. If you dial in the people who are wishing him, saying that they'd have his back, including Jalen Ramsey, and it just stinks. It's just an ultra-talented player who we won't get to see this season. And I saw ESPN had the Chargers as one of the, they had 10 teams who could win the Super Bowl. They had the Chargers on that list, and I thought no chance based on their quarterback situation. But this certainly makes it even less of a chance without somebody of his talent.
Yeah, he's irreplaceable, and that's really what he is. He is a unique, one of the truly unique players in the game, a huge impact player as well. And that is a massive loss that I'm sure will be documented on tonight's episode of Hard Knocks. But yeah, absolutely a devastating one for the Chargers. And that's a young defense that, you like, but they just seem to have problems all the time, that organization. It's like they can't get it done. And there's so much talent there.
Yeah, it's really a couple of decades worth, too, even going back to the Danian and Tomlinson and Rivers and all of those guys, Gates. They've had a ton of talent there, and just has never been able to put it all together and make it matter. And this will be a hard time this year to do it as well. Josh Gordon, Josh well, sold his Super Bowl ring for $138,000. Yeah, I would imagine he would. What connection would he have to it?
Yeah, it definitely is it's a bummer, and it just means that Josh is still in, from a financial standpoint, still obviously in difficult situations. So you never like to see it, but yeah, of course, doesn't have much of a connection to it. And you hope. I like him very much. Every time that I got to talk to him, every time I got to be around him, I am a huge Josh Gordon human being fan, and I hope that he has an opportunity to live the life that he wants to live, and maybe selling this ring will help him get on that path. Because I love Josh, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Is he anywhere? Is he trying to get reinstated? Is he back trying to play, or is it done? He is.
He is trying to get reinstated, but no updates on that yet.
Yeah. The Bears will not name a starting quarterback until next week on that one. What do you think? How do you think that plays out in Chicago?
I mean, I think it's going to be Nick Foles, obviously. I just think they want to not give anything away. The level of secrecy the teams are going to has never been higher. I mean, we still don't know for our team who's calling the plays. It's just everybody wants to keep anything that can be kept close to the vest will be. And then starting September 13th and everybody playing games, all the stuff we'll get a lot more back to normal.
You don't give up what you gave up for Foles. I think what Foles did is it allowed you to hold out hope for Mitch, as misguided as I think that is. It allowed you to hold out hope for him. If you're Ryan Pace, you put your stake, on Trubisky. Like it's a big, right now it looks like a big blunder, frankly, based on who the quarterbacks were, the next two quarterbacks who were drafted in that draft. And so, but yeah, I mean, they got to win now. They got a roster that's in a window. That's why they did the Khalil Mack trade. Because they thought they were a Khalil Mack away of winning for the Super Bowl. They were trying to do the Russell Wilson, not have to pay. They thought Trubisky could be like Wilson, like don't have to pay the quarterback, put all the money everywhere else, and let's go win it. So they're still – they may think they're kind of in that window. They're not to me. But they have to win now, or else the Khalil Mack deal, it's a why?
And that's why they should have brought in Cam Newton.
Right. It was always the place for Cam. They're
paying more for Nick Foles than the Patriots are paying for Cam.
Yeah, the Patriots are paying Cam a bucket of balls. It's about $8 is what they're paying for Cam Newton. Also in Kansas City, Andy Reid finalizing a 6-year contract extension. Brett Veach getting a 6-year extension as well. So the Kansas City Chiefs now, the Hunt family has locked up basically everybody of importance for at least the next 6 years. And you say if anybody could have a Patriots run, it would be them, because they will have quarterback, coach, GM, together on the same page all the way, through the middle of Patrick Mahomes' prime.
And it's amazing for a team that had like $1 under the salary cap. They've extended.
They made it all work.
They got all these people locked up.
They made it all work.
They made it. Yes,
I was thinking about that, and you could talk. We've talked about this before in regard to Mark Davis and some others. But think about the amount that Clark Hunt had to put into escrow this summer, because you have to pay those. You have to have that money. He's got to be ready to pay those right away. I mean, he's how many $100 million?
That's a lot.
Had to be available right away.
Steep
to make all that work.
Well, he owns an NFL team. He's doing all right.
He did, yeah, he did, and so that's solid, and they're in great position. I mean, the Chiefs will be set up now with Reed and Mahomes and Veach going forward. They've done a great job with everything that they've done in roster building, and in a position now to win for a very, very long time. Coming up at the top of the hour, one of our favorites, Joel Bitonio, one of the leaders certainly on this team and absolutely of this offense. He had his meeting with the media. We will have that for you. And coming up at the bottom of the next hour, one of the real bright stars of this camp has been Harrison Bryant. You will hear from him. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
At University Hospitals, your health and safety have always come first. UH Safe shows that commitment in action. Social distancing in all shared spaces. Screening everyone who enters for symptoms or fever, and more. UH Safe means if you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get care at University Hospitals. UH Safe. Protecting your health with science and compassion. University Hospitals. Visit uhhospitals.org.
Rumpke Waste and Recycling is a family-owned and operated company keeping neighborhoods clean and green since 1932. Rumpke provides environmentally friendly waste disposal solutions and recycling options. In business for 87 years, Rumpke Waste and Recycling believes that their people make all the difference. Whether you join Rumpke as a customer or as an employee, you'll become a part of the family. Open positions in Medina are available now with immediate start dates. Visit www.rumpke.com to learn more.
The coronavirus has changed all of our lives, but strong academics are still the key to your future success. The Cleveland Browns encourage students and families to stay in the game by keeping an active mind and continuing to learn each day. That means checking in with your teachers through virtual classrooms, attending any online meetings, and completing your assignments on time. Also, you can access free remote learning resources by visiting browns.com/community/COVID-19. We've got this. Together, let's stay in the game.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
Believe land is a term that comes from dedication, support, and togetherness. Through thick and thin, we support our teams and our city that we call home.
On game day and every day, Elk & Elk strives to earn the trust of our injured clients and provide support to those who need it most. We're proud to serve a region where nothing is given, but everything is earned.
We believe in Cleveland. Let us earn your trust. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Browns.
Hey Browns fans, if your game plan for this season includes buying or selling a home, we have you covered. Howard Hanna is the official real estate provider of the Cleveland Browns. Howard Hanna is the #1 real estate company in Ohio with over 60 local offices across the footprint. Howard Hanna delivers a winning strategy to help make your home ownership dreams a reality. Make your next move with confidence with their exclusive 100% money back guarantee. Get in the game with Howard Hanna. We'll get you more.
At Medical Mutual, we know that protecting and caring for your family is a full-time job. That's because it's our job too. We're dedicated to ensuring lifelong Browns fans like you by providing high-quality health plans, exceptional service, and a strong network of doctors and hospitals located near your home field. Medical Mutual is the official health insurer of the Cleveland Browns and everything you love. To learn more about our comprehensive health plans, visit medmutual.com.
Yep. The Ford F-150. Prepared to help deal with the tough projects life throws at you.
Got it.
Whether it's building a deck or remodeling your home.
Done. There we go.
Or just putting together an entertainment center for your man cave.
Perfect. Now that's what I'm talking about. Let's go, Brownies.
Hurry to your local Ford dealer today. Ford, proud partner of the Cleveland Browns.
Hammer and Riz on The Really Big Show, weekdays 9 to 1, right here on ESPN 850 WKNR, Cleveland. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily on a Tuesday edition. Let's talk about your mattress. It may be to blame for a bad night's sleep, back pain, and or discomfort. You've got in traditional stores, you've seen those outrageous prices. Well, at Northeast Factory Direct, they've gotten rid of all of those extras, so you get that same quality mattress for a fraction of the cost. Alex partnered with a manufacturer here in the United States that makes mattresses exclusively for Northeast. He buys these mattresses by the truckload, passing all the savings on to you. Pillow top, memory foam, gel foam, all the sizes. They've got a ton of mattresses in stock, and they're ready to deliver them, and you can get them right away. That's the best part. Get them right away. Also have 0% financing available. West 140th Street in Cleveland, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, or Freeway Drive in Macedonia, or shop them online anytime at northeastfactorydirect.com. Going over some of the big news and headlines before we get to Joel Bitonio and his media session. Harrison Bryant named Browns Maurice Bassett Award winner for the standout training camp performance by a rookie. No surprise there, but I think really, Z, from a big picture perspective, we spent a lot of time talking about Harrison on this show, and we've seen it in your written word and also in one of your other jobs of shows that you host. But the one thing that we could say is really all of the rookies have done really, really well. Jed has a big spotlight on him because of what's being asked of him and the importance of his position. But all of these guys, this has been a really impressive class, and certainly the Delpit injury casts a shadow. But at the same time, the rest of them have played very, very well, all the way to Donovan, every single one of them, Donovan Peoples-Jones all the way up.
Yeah, you think about Jedrick Wills, and he's had his ups and downs as he, is learning to play that left tackle position. So he's certainly been in the spotlight. Delpit was poised to be an absolute playmaker and a stud, and somebody that the coaches were just raving about. And then you go into the third round. Jacob Phillips showing that great physicality, that nose for the ball, the ability to shoot the gaps. His run fits are excellent. Still working on getting more comfortable in coverage. And then Jordan Elliott's been great. Your end of the third round pick, who's really, I think, established himself as somebody that's going to have a role as a rookie, despite, perhaps maybe not thinking that he would. Harrison Bryant, your fourth rounder, great. Nick Harris has been a starter, great, filling in for J.C. Treader. And then Donovan Peoples-Jones looks very much like your second round pick. If you said that was the second round pick that you got, you'd say, wow, what a class. And yes, early, again, not against anybody else, but so far you're seeing the signs from these guys that, yes, this has an opportunity to be a very good draft class that's going to yield multiple starters. That's what you want. If you get multiple starters out of this, you're in a really, really good spot.
A couple other things just from an injury standpoint. More good news. If you pay attention to the scores, you would have known this already. Mack Wilson could be back in as little as 4 to 6 weeks. Coach Stefanski confirming no sort of surgery is required there, so that's great news for Mack. Beyond that, he clarified Myles Garrett. Still not a lot of clarity on Greedy Williams and J.C. Treader, but Myles, an abundance of caution, Z.
Yeah, and I think, again, I had zero concern whatsoever about Myles Garrett and his ability and health for the season opener. You do want to get word that, on Greedy, Kevin Johnson, MJ Stewart, that's still 3 your top 5 corners headed into the season. So you want to hear those guys coming back sooner rather than later.
Yep, absolutely so on that point. And so with that, one of our favorites, the great Joel Bitonio, met with the media earlier today. Let's have a listen.
Hi, Joel. I just wondered, how do you feel the line's coming together, especially with it's possible you're going to have 2 rookies in there to start, at least for the early in the season. Do you feel like you've made strides lately?
Yeah, I think every day we're getting a little bit better. There's things to work on.
I think every day you find something new that you want to improve on and work on, and that's just the whole season, really, as you're working with O-linemen with two young guys that didn't get the OTAs in off-season. Every day you're just trying to find something to get better with. We talked to Jed about 1 to 2 things each day to work on, to focus on, to really try and improve so it becomes more of a habit. But we're getting there. Coach Callahan, Coach Peters, they're putting us in good positions to be successful, and now we're just continue to try and work the technique and get as many reps as we can before that first week.
Is there something you see from maybe one thing from Jed and one thing from Nick that is like maybe most encouraging, like how areas that they've really catching on?
Yeah, from Nick's perspective, he's playing center, so there's a lot on his play calling. Making calls and things of that nature. He's done a really good job of picking that up. And he's an athletic guy. Like he can move and he's quick and he gets to his position really well. So those are things that are really big positive signs. And then Jed kind of in the same boat. He's really picked up the offense well. Like you don't see very many mental errors and things of that nature, which are encouraging for a rookie that's just going through his first training camp ever and his real first practices ever. And then just his daily improvement. I know he's going against guys like OV and Miles and guys that have been to Pro Bowls and all pros in this league, and he's competing with those guys. It's not pretty all the time, but every day he's fighting and getting better, and not every block in the NFL is pretty. You might have to win sloppy sometimes, and he's learning that's okay. When you're at Alabama and you're playing teams, sometimes you just win every block, and that doesn't happen all the time in the NFL. You learn from those mistakes, and you keep improving, and you've seen that fight with him.
Hey, Joel, I missed the first question, so I hope I'm not really overly repeating myself here. But in terms of Jed, with you being right next to him, what kinds of things are you doing to kind of help him, just even from a technique standpoint, a timing and spacing standpoint, but also perhaps maybe trying to help him keep his head up and not get down and those kinds of things?
Yeah, it starts with communication from the huddle. Make sure we know where we're working to and who we're going to and the nuances of each play, because each play there's something different that, you have to worry about. But just from that point, and then communicating. And then just once the play's over with, you realize, like, what happened, what went right, what went wrong, and kind of learning from those situations, Joe Thomas told me my rookie year, what's the worst thing, what can this defensive player do to you, that's going to make this play not work for us? And, you kind of put that in your mindset and you try and eliminate that right away and then kind of go from there. Just little tidbits like that, and just helping him try and focus on each and every play and understanding, like, this league, like, you have to play the next play. Like, if there's a penalty, if there's a sack, if there's something that goes wrong, like, there's another play that's coming right up and you can't get down on yourself. And I think he's understanding that, like, I'm not going to bat 100 for 100, but, we want to try and get to as close to that number as possible and just play as hard as we can and focus on the next play each and every time we get back in the huddle.
Hey, Joel, you've been around the block enough times now to answer this, but with 12 days to go, on a global level, the whole team, do you feel you're on course to be in the best possible prep for the season opener, or do you have to really make up ground, particularly this week?
I feel like we're in a good spot. I think it took a while to get going with the ramp-up periods. You don't get as much contact and stuff. But the last couple of weeks, we've been going pretty steadily. And, you put your whole playbook in on offense and defense, and now you're starting to shrink it up and kind of go to the plays that have been working and the plays that you're going to want to run against Baltimore. And I think we're in a good spot. It's going to take a good week of practice regardless. We want to come out here and get better this week. We have a 4-day block here, and then we really get into game week. But we're excited where we're at. I think we saw some good things in the scrimmage on Sunday, I believe that was, and we're moving in the right direction. There's a lot of positives out there, and that, you're only good as your last day, so we're going to come out there today and try and have our best practice yet and just keep building on those things.
Could you give us an idea of J.C. Tretter's psyche right now? Is he bummed? Is he pumped up? Is he getting close? Is he on top of everything?
Medically, I'm not sure. I don't know how all that's working. Him and the training staff and Coach Stefanski probably have a better answer for you on that. But I know mentally he's been in every meeting. He's, watching practice on his iPad, and he's getting focused and ready to roll. I know mentally he's going to be ready to play, if he's ready to go physically. Like, that's not going to be an option. He's always been a smart guy, and he knows where we're at, play by play and issue by issue. And I still talk to him in the meeting and make sure, I'm like, hey, this is what we're seeing out there. Like, what would you call in these situations and those type of situations? So It's definitely different, but, if anybody can do it, I mean, he's done it the last few years where he hasn't practiced with high ankle sprains and things of that nature, and he's come into the games and he's been really mentally sharp. And so that's something that we're not worried about, and I know he's been pushing himself. He's there every day just trying to get back and be ready for week one.
Hey, Joel, kind of along those lines, if Nick Harris is the guy out there week one, is there a little more responsibility on you to kind of help him out with some of the calls he has to make and some things he has to point out?
Yeah, I think he'll be in a good position. I think Coach has done a good job of getting him ready. But, when we're out there, the five guys got to figure out who we're blocking. And if that takes me making a call or Jack making a call or Wyatt or even Jed, we're going to figure out who we're going to and try and all be on the same page. Being a guy who's been in this, system a little bit and kind of understands, like, hey, this is the nuance of it. Of course, I'll be ready to help him and make a call if we need to. But I think he's on track to be ready mentally. He's made some good things, and I'm sure Baltimore will have something for us that we haven't seen that we'll have to adjust to on the sideline. But we're getting there, and we got 2 weeks now to really ramp it up mentally for Baltimore. But, I'll be ready to take that step if it's needed.
Hey, Joel. Kevin Stefanski has been hit with a bunch of stuff that a lot of first-year coaches don't get, right? COVID, a lot of the social justice stuff, no off-season program. How do you think he's dealt with all that?
Yeah, he's been great. He's always come into it with a game plan, and from day one he understood this season was going to be different. From COVID perspective, like you talked about, from social justice perspective, he's been on top of his game and he's kept his focus. I mean, just not having team meetings together where it's like we're on Zoom calls and stuff like that. All those things are different than normal. We're doing so much more virtual stuff that he's been really ready, and he's really stressed to us. We got to hit the curveball this year. What are they going to send at us? Whoever deals with these circumstances better is going to have a leg up on the competition. And his organization, his focus on those issues has been top notch.
You've been around a lot of other coaches. Like, do you think, kind of compare how he's handled it, how other coaches, whether you've had him or around the league, might be handling all this stuff differently?
Yeah, it's one of those things that this is kind of like a first time in a lifetime type of situation for, I think, most NFL teams. So it's hard to tell how other franchises have handled it. But I just know we're getting our work in and we're focused as a unit. And that's really all we can ask. We don't know what's exactly happening across the league, but Coach Stefanski's got a plan and he's putting it in place, and we're making our way towards that goal.
Hey, Joel, good to see you. Hey, injuries are always a problem, and you guys have had some rotten luck already. Was there more of a concern, Joel, coming into camp about the possibility of injuries just because of how strange this offseason was in terms of training and things like that?
Yeah, I think that's why we were trying to stress, I think JC did a good job with the NFLPA of having that ramp-up period. Because no matter how hard you train, like you can train in the weight room and running and things like that, until you're really like physically battling with somebody, you don't realize how much toll that is on your body. And like you said, a lot of our things have been really unlucky injuries, with Achilles and stuff like that, where it's kind of freak accidents, where I don't know if that would have been, if we had OTAs or something, I don't know if that's changing those scenarios. But, you wanted to have enough ramp-up period to guys get their bodies kind of used to pushing and pulling on each other, because you never know how you're going to feel when you're blocking a 300-pound guy or 2 300-pound guys are tackling you. And in these situations where guys are getting rolled up on, it's the soft tissue injuries and those things that you're trying to prevent, with the ramp-up period and stuff. But some of those football injuries just happen, and it's unfortunate part of the business. Hopefully we get as healthy as possible going into week one, and we have, most of our key guys.
Thanks. One more quick one. I know he's not in your position group, but Harrison Bryant, we voted as the top rookie in camp. I was just wondering if he stood out to you in any way.
Yeah, he's a mature guy. He's focused. He hasn't talked much, which is good for a rookie. But he comes in and he handles his business. And from my perspective, every time the ball comes his way, he's making a play on it, and he pops right up when he gets hit, and he's just doing all the right things you want to see in a rookie. And he's a little smaller than some of the other tight ends, but he goes in there and he just tries to fight, and that's all you can really ask for, those tight ends. I mean, they're not used to blocking, 280-pound defensive ends, and he comes out there and he attacks them, and he's, he wants to be a part of it, and that's really all you can ask for from a rookie, and he's focused, and he doesn't really make those mental mistakes. But, from what I can see from the receiving aspect, every day he's coming down with a sweet catch or a nice touchdown, and those are all exciting things.
Hey, Joel, what impact has it had on you guys as an offensive line that you haven't had Miles out there this whole, for the whole camp? He missed the first 5 days, then he was out of the scrimmage the other night. Does that hurt you guys a little bit from getting ready for the season standpoint, maybe even all across the line?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great player. He's one of the top rushers in this league. And anytime you get to battle him, you're going to learn things. But we have other good rushers on our team. Like, it's not like, you're just getting ready for Myles Garrett every week. He's a great player, and it's good to get those looks and good to feel that speed because he has more speed than, most edge rushers you're going to face. But he's been out there, he was banged up early start of practice, but a lot of those were, kind of walk-through days or we're going against the defense. He's got his looks in. I know he's going to be ready to roll the next couple weeks, and we're going to get plenty of looks against him. I mean, anytime you can go against a great player, it's good to battle that, but I think our coaches have done a good job putting us in positions, moving OB around. We have other guys. Sheldon Richardson's a Pro Bowler. We have guys that can rush the quarterback that we've had to block, and I think we're going to be prepared.
Hey, Joel, heading into camp, I think we were all wondering what was going to happen at right guard. And we haven't talked about it much at all because it's just been Wyatt Teller in there. So I was wondering, what's your take on how he did in camp, and what's your confidence level in him at that spot?
Yeah, I know Wyatt worked his butt off this offseason. He was he was truly focused. He wanted to help transform his body a little bit and just be ready to play. He's had some of his chances his first 2 years in the league. He's been on a couple different teams, but he understood this right guard spot was going to be a competition, and he wanted to work for it. And he's done everything he's really needed to. He's come out there, he's competed every day, he's worked hard. And he's continuing to get better like the rest of us. Every day we're picking one or two things that we want to work on, and he's been part of that. But it's been good. He has some experience. He's probably started maybe 15, 16 games in his career. And when you have a guy like Nick next to you, all that experience helps. And him and Jack working together, they've had a pretty good bond this camp. So I think he's, done a great job of really putting himself in position to be successful this year. And I know he's really put in the work, especially this offseason training camp, to try and give himself the best chance.
That's really been one of the unsung stories that we thought we'd be discussing quite a bit of, obviously, when you got to this camp, was Wyatt Teller. We kept saying right guard, right guard, right guard, right guard. Well, nothing to see here. You safe, pal.
It has not been a competition at all in any way, shape, or form, and I think that's one of the that's been one of the surprising things about this entire camp.
Having troubles with the Z's audio. Obviously here. We'll take a quick time out, and we will get back into this. Among the other topics of conversation, ESPN asked 46 experts to rate the players on how they would be 1 through 100. We'll tell you where our guys rated on that, plus Harrison Bryant as well. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
So if I have Paramount Advantage and want to get in on these Cleveland Browns healthy rewards, I just have to make a wellness visit with my doctor?
That's right.
But what if I'm not well? What if I got some nasty toe fungus?
You can still enter to win Browns prizes. The reward is for seeing your doctor. After your visit, just go to ParamountHealthcare.com/Browns and enter.
But what if it's all yellow and green and it's crawling up my foot?
It doesn't matter. Dude, stop talking about your feet.
Why you gotta do me like that? Look, I'm just trying to open up, share a little bit about what's going on in my life.
At university hospitals, your health and safety have always come first. UH Safe shows that commitment in action. Social distancing in all shared spaces, screening everyone who enters for symptoms or fever, and more. UH Safe means if you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get care at university hospitals. UH Safe, protecting your health with science and compassion. University hospitals. Visit uhhospitals.org.
What makes an SUV smart? Any idea? Is it a 160 IQ? A marble bust of Galileo's face carved into the tailgate? Aha! No, it's simpler than that. Smart isn't just something awarded. It's something that's built. Smart is an SUV that can help you keep pace and adapt to the world around you. Smart is the all-new 2020 Ford Escape. So be smart about it. Ford, proud partner of the Cleveland Browns.
The Pro Shop at First Energy Stadium is now open. Shop a wide selection of 2020 products, on-field apparel, and exclusive training camp offers updated daily. Here's the best part of your purchase at the Pro Shop. All Browns net proceeds benefit the Cleveland Browns Foundation. Located next to the ticket office at First Energy Stadium, the Browns Pro Shop has been updated for a clean and safe shopping experience. Open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Call 440-824-3427 or stop by the Browns Pro Shop today.
New Bud Light Seltzer, huh?
Yep.
And it tastes like a hard seltzer, not a beer?
Yep.
So it's light and refreshing?
Yep.
With a hint of fruit flavor?
Yep.
And 100 calories?
Yep.
You said this is Bud Light Seltzer?
Yep.
Well, I need to try it.
Yep.
Oh, that tastes great.
Yep.
Now, wait. Are you just yupping me?
Nope.
Bud Light Seltzer. Unquestionably good. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Seltzer. IRC Beers. Beer in Texas. St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey Browns fans, Global Transport is Northeast Ohio's leading source for freight management, providing comprehensive transportation and logistics solutions. Recognized by Crane's Cleveland Business as one of Cleveland's fastest growing companies, Global Transport has quickly become Northeast Ohio's preferred transportation and logistics provider. Call 888-51-GLOBAL or globaltransportinc.com and see how Global Transport can help your business today. Global Transport, delivering solutions, eliminating excuses. Go Browns!
You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Knowing one's limit is important, whether it's a snap count for a football player or spending a limit when you're playing the lottery. So if you like to gamble, set a limit beforehand and stick to it. Want to learn more? Go to keepitfunohio.com for helpful tips on how to keep gambling fun. Before we get into this list, we were having the discussion, or I was rather, about Wyatt Teller. And this was, boy, you think about right guard, right guard, right guard. That's all we talked about all offseason. It was the one position battle to watch. There weren't many. It was at linebacker and right guard where everything else was kind of locked up. It's been a non-issue from Jump Street, man. I mean, it's just a non-talker, and some of that is some attrition, but most of it is the play of Wyatt Teller.
Yeah, Wyatt Teller, and it has to do with as well the fact that, you know, guys who are going to potentially be in that mix, Drew Forbes and Colby Gossett, both opted out. Chris Hubbard's been working as a backup tackle, and of course he's gotten a few reps in there at guard. But really, Wyatt Teller, I always thought it was Wyatt Teller's job to lose. And as his competition faded away, he's kind of like the guy who's, you know, up to going into the back nine on a Sunday at a major and just plays even, and everybody else falls out of the competition. And in this case, Wyatt Teller, I think it's been shown that is just a good fit for this offense. And his relationship dating back with Bill Callahan, as we had talked about, led it very well to him being productive. And he stood out and has been very good. You see him working that wide zone. It suits, as I said, his movement skills that were certainly on display. People who remember some of those highlights from that Patriots game a year ago, yeah, that's been a non-issue. I mean, there's been no rotation, and that's a far cry. Think about last year. You had Eric Kush, you had Teller, who came in late. You had Forbes getting reps. You had I can't remember the name. There was a guy who was a center and a guard who went to Michigan that was also getting reps early in that camp. Kyle Kalis. So you had a lot of people kind of in the mix at that position, trying, you know, to see who would be that guard. And instead, it obviously started with Kush, ends with Teller. And that's how it was. I think it was a 3-man rotation of people working in at that spot all year until Kush ends up winning the job, and then they move on and end up giving it to Teller. But I think that's just good because, especially with Nick Harris in there at center right now, and potentially for week 1, if we don't know if JC's back again, I never would bet against him. But for Harris to have guys who have started, Tyler's got 16 career starts in 2 seasons. He started a full year in the NFL. Bitonio, we know what he's done, one of the best guards. To have that continuity, though, of every snap, those guys next to him, I think has been great for Nick Harris and valuable for them. And for Teller, you know, to have Conklin now on his right side, I think has been great for him. And so I think it's just been good for this offensive line in general. But Teller certainly has done everything that they've asked. And he's not even brought up. He's not brought up in interviews. No. It's not brought up when you're talking to Callahan. Well, hey, how's Wyatt Teller doing? It just is what it is. When you would have thought that would have been the number one question to Bill Callahan after every practice, or at Kevin Stefanski, what's going on at right guard? What's going on at right guard? No, it hasn't been the case whatsoever. And Teller's gotten the job, taken the job, ran with it, and it's his, period.
If you would have said in April, May, that J.C. Treader would be not available for camp, and that we wouldn't have to worry about right guard, like this circumstance that we find ourselves in is unbelievable if processed or asked in May. I mean, you just would never wrap your head around it.
Totally. And let's not forget this. Where would we be right now if Andrew Berry didn't have the chutzpah to move back a few spots in the second round to pick up the pick that became Nick Harris.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great point. It's a fantastic point. It's hard to say. Harris has been exemplary. Teller has been as well. And Jed is coming along. I mean, it's much more of it being asked of him in terms of trying to – left tackle's hard enough anyway. It's probably among the most difficult positions in all of football to get acclimated to when you go from college to pro. And I think Joe's even talked about that with us before about how hard it was to him. And he had all of that camp, all of those preseason games, all of that mini camp, all that stuff to get ready for. Jed's had none of that. So he's going to have a whole season of a learning curve that at times will seem overwhelming. It does not mean that he doesn't get it. It's not mean that he's not going to be great, but that this is going to be very, very difficult. And my guess is all of those left tackles who were drafted high this year, the learning curve will be extra, extra steep. It's more so from Jed because he's going from right to left, and he's doing a lot of thinking right now. But that doesn't mean that that he's not going to work out the way you want him to. It's just that this is probably one of the toughest positions to transition from college to pro.
It is, and there's so much, as you mentioned. Joe Thomas said all that he had to go through, and Joe Thomas felt like that he wasn't, despite having a full offseason and preseason games and he didn't feel like he was where he even was close to where he wanted to be until, week 5, week 6. So for Jed, you've missed so much. It could be, it's going to be, I think, some ups and downs during this rookie season. Now, the good news is I really do believe that we're going to see as he gets more into the games, it's going to get better. But it's a tough opener. Judon, Chase Young, Dunlop, Chase Young. Those are your first 3 weeks. Then DeMarcus Lawrence week 4.
Campbell, you'll have to deal with him a little bit too.
That's your opener. Welcome to the NFL. That is not easy. That is not an easy opening stanza for anybody, let alone a rookie left tackle. And so the Browns are going to have to do some things scheme-wise, I would imagine, to give him a little bit of help. We're going to make sure we give you some help over there, and we're going to try to help you out. And he's got Bud Dupree, in week 6. There are going to be good pass rushers coming at him all season long. And Jedrick Wills certainly has the talent, the feet, the athleticism, and as he gets more and more real reps, it's going to become more and more natural for him.
Yep, no question on that. ESPN has 46 experts to rate players based on how good they will be in 2020 in comparison to their peers. Emphasis was entirely on expectations for the upcoming season. That means injured safety Derwin James won't make the list, predicting potential greatness rather than past performance, career resume, or positional value. So this is basically a PFF list is what they're trying to do here, where you take out positional value and just grade the players. And so number 1 on that list was Pat Mahomes. Aaron Donald was 2 on that list. Lamar Jackson was 3. In terms of our guys, Myles Garrett comes in at number 12 overall in the league, so obviously big things expected of Myles. There ought to be big things expected of Myles if he plays a full season. A sack-a-game type season is probably what is certainly expected of Myles. Odell Beckham Jr. comes in at number 40. Nick Chubb at 59, Denzel Ward at 89, and those were the Browns that made the list. What did they get right? What did they get wrong?
I think that obviously those are probably the 4 names that are gonna get on most of these lists. And I think as you look at the Nick Chubb stats, they're projecting a drop to about 1,269 yards rushing, 211 receiving, 11 total touchdowns. I think that we just don't know where those numbers are going to end up. Because I really think we're going to see a lot of Kareem Hunt. I think Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, if you could combine them into one, would be much higher up this list in terms of what you would get out of them. I think ultimately Austin Hooper is somebody that's going to
quick. And if Chubb and Hunt were on different teams, they both would be higher than 59.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So Hunt's not even on the list because he's in the same backfield as Nick Chubb, and Chubb would be in the top 20 if he were by himself. And Hunt would probably be right around there if he were by himself. But because they're together, both are devalued.
And you look at number 99, they have Rob Gronkowski, but his projections, 47 catches, 640 yards, 4 touchdowns. That doesn't sound like one of the 100 most impactful players in the National Football League. And if
Hoop
his name
will be better than that.
I think Hoop will be better than that, without question. I think that's certainly an interesting one. From our team, look, Joel Bitonio, it's hard to measure guards, but as I went through the list, there are plenty of guards on there that deserve to be on there. Mark Andrews isn't on the list. I think, and Rob Gronkowski is. That's a bit surprising to me.
That's a non-PFF situation there.
From our standpoint, the truth is those are our stars. I think that Joel Bitonio deserves to be on any kind of a list like this because Joel Bitonio is so good. And he is year in, year out, and you're seeing there are offensive linemen on here. But again, from a respect standpoint, sometimes it's hard to come by unless you're Quentin Nelson or Zach Martin or Marshall Yanda. But Bitonio is that good. Our headline players, and by the way, 4 of them from our team, pretty good. That's a pretty good place to start.
Yep. Oh, yeah. There's no question.
And Jarvis and Hoop and Hunt could be on there.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. I was curious to see where Jarvis would rank versus the receivers that are down on this list. Because Jarvis is obviously somebody who, for whatever reason, just never – I think it's just he doesn't have the big yard per catch numbers, although last year was one of the better ones he's had in the league.
Yep.
And I was curious where he would rank versus Cooper Kupp and Adam Thielen based on the production. But also probably understanding that it's very possible that Jarvis won't have the year statistically that he had last year just because of the way this offense is going to go about their business. He may drop statistically.
So what I don't understand, if it's based on this year, for example, is it based just solely on the projection, or is there more qualitative
projections
around
of this year?
But, for example, Juju Smith-Schuster is 100th, and his projections, 81 catches, 1,035 yards, 7 touchdowns. Cooper Kupp is 95th, which is ahead of him, 80, 997, and 6. So Smith-Schuster.
So is Lockett. Lockett 72 and 981. He's 83 on the list. I don't understand.
I don't understand it. This seems like something Gibbe would have done to try to confuse us.
It feels like higher, lower.
It does feel like higher or lower.
Wait, what? I don't understand. Why is this on here?
Right.
Last year Jarvis was 83 for 1174 and 6 touchdowns. That's better than the projected for most of these guys. Go ahead, sir. Your hand is up.
Anyone?
Bueller? Anyone?
So what they're saying here is that the projection is Mike Clay, who we've had on the show. That's his projected stat line for the season. The rating is based on, they asked the 46 experts to rate them on how good they will be, predicting potential greatness, blah, blah, blah. From those ratings, they ranked 100. So the rankings are the qualitative of, they asked the people. That's how you get this order. Mike Clay saying pretty definitively, I disagree with some of your rankings.
Yes. He does disagree with some of their assumptions, does he not?
He does. He certainly does. And a name that you don't see on the list is Jadeveon Clowney. And Charles Robinson was actually on the Pat McAfee show moments ago and said that the Browns had offered Jadeveon Clowney 1, 2, and 3-year deals in the $17 to $18 million range, and that he declined. This is from Charles Robinson on the Pat McAfee show here today.
Wow. And the answer was no.
Yes, and Charles Robinson's also said he can't believe how badly he being Clowney, has bungled this situation.
Wow. That's pretty surprising. But I guess, you get it too, because then you basically lock up a running mate for Miles for the foreseeable future. If you talk about a 3-year deal for Clowney. Be interested to see what the numbers were on that, of course, in terms of what was guaranteed in
Sure.
those situations. But that is obviously fascinating news in terms of trying to drum up, some real consistency for a long time opposite Miles.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a surprise at all. I think that the Browns were interested in doing that, and I think that interest probably came to an end when Olivier Vernon restructured his contract. Because remember, that money, had they made that signing, Olivier Vernon wouldn't have been playing out his contract, so the bulk of that money would have been transferred from Vernon to Clowney. But once Olivier Vernon's restructured, you don't need Clowney this year. It's something that you'll address next year.
Yeah. No, absolutely. All right, lots of good stuff there. Coming up next, you will hear from Harrison Bryant. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
For contest rules information for 850 ESPN Cleveland, please visit ESPNClevelandContests.com. That's ESPNClevelandContests.com for contest rules and information.
Got it to 35. Still going at the 20. Weaving his way to the 10, to the 5, and into the end zone.
Cleveland sports fans, we're where you want to be. ESPN 850 WKNR.
Want to turn your old, rusty hunk of junk in for a nicer ride, but think it's not even worth a tank of gas? Think again. Progressive Chevrolet will give you $5,000 for your trade, no matter the condition. That's right, $5,000 for any trade guaranteed when you buy any factory-certified pre-owned car, truck, or sport utility at Progressive Chevrolet in Massillon. Needs repairs? No problem. Any rusty, smelly, noisy hunk of junk gets you $5,000 guaranteed. $5,000 could help you get approved. No other dealer will give you $5,000 for your cruddy car, but Progressive Chevrolet will, guaranteed. Get $5,000 for your trade only at Progressive Chevrolet in Massillon.
One trade per purchase. Offer applies to GM certified vehicles only. Does not apply to prior transactions and cannot be combined with any other advertised offers. See dealer for details. Ends September 30th, 2020.
Get $5,000 for your trade only at Progressive Chevrolet in Massillon.
Folks, now is the time to get the perfect power wash. 20 years in business, so they're giving off 20%. Schedule in minutes to save yourself thousands. Perfect Power Wash, professionally clean your home. It'll improve your home's appearance and protect you from expensive repairs like mold on your siding, mildew on your deck, and algae on your roof. These contaminants can accumulate and cause permanent damage if left untreated. 888-860-WASH right now for a free quote and save 20% for Ohio's #1 power washing service.
Hey, it's Chris Holdak for Kempthorne Motors, Canton's premier auto dealership, family-owned, and the heart of the community for 82 years. Shop Kempthorne Motors for your new and pre-owned Mazda, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, Sprinter van, Volvo, and Jaguar needs. Also offering a full-service detail center, making your summer road trip cleanup a breeze. Kempthorne Motors makes your car buying experience easy, fun, and friendly. Experience the difference today on Cleveland Avenue Northwest in Canton or at kempthorne.com.
Hey, it's Riz for Floors. They're doing something they've never done before. For a limited time, Floors is offering 0% financing for 48 months. That's 4 years. They have something for every home. Hardwood, carpet, vinyl, waterproof floor, tile, rugs, more. Plus, top brands like Shaw Floors. When you go with Shaw, you're talking about quality, beauty, and durability. Right now, get 0% financing, 48 months. Some restrictions apply. Just off Route 18 in Copley, 82 in Strongsville across from the mall, or yourfloorswithaz.com.
And now a Rizzo rant from the sensitive side of Tony Rizzo.
In the midst of COVID, we must take care of ourselves in the good old-fashioned three-prong attack. Proper diet, exercise, good night's sleep. Our bodies can protect us from illness with some extra Joe Bees. It gives your body the nutrients it needs to perform at an optimal level. Diet, exercise, good night's sleep. That's the Joe B lifestyle. Joe B's.
Call 877-300-5632. That's 877-300-5632. Or order with a money-back guarantee at joebs.com.
It's official. Dell's Labor Day sale saves you up to $300 on cutting-edge XPS and Alienware machines with Intel Core processors, plus free shipping. Call 800-BUY-DELL.
Hi, gang. Tony Rizzo and Aaron Goldhammer here for Bookman & Son Fine Jewelers. You know the message at Bookman. By now, you should. They want customers for life. Their service and sincere care rings true 365 days a year. You are truly a guest in their store.
That's right, Rizzy. Here's what happens when you walk in. Josh will introduce himself, say that he's there for you if you need him, and then he'll sit back down. He will not, I guarantee, stalk you around the store.
And they treat customers with an $800 budget the same as a $15,000 budget. I can attest to that.
Plus, Josh doesn't ask for your phone number. In fact, he'll give you his number so that you can text or call with whatever questions you have.
Now, that's the fastest no I have at a store is when someone goes, can I have your phone number? No. If you have any questions all prior to stopping in, feel free to email Josh at joshbookman@gmail.com.
He's happy to answer any questions. He always responds to emails in a timely fashion.
8803 Brecksville Road in beautiful Brecksville, Ohio, or online, bookmanandson.com.
Do you know a high school senior athlete who excels both on and off the field? Visit ESPNClevelandContest.com for a chance to be featured on ESPN Cleveland through the Raising Cane's weekly senior spotlight. Raising Cane's, one love.
For contest rules information for 850 ESPN Cleveland, please visit ESPNClevelandContests.com. That's ESPNClevelandContests.com for contest rules and information.
You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. If an auto accident caused you injury, don't face the challenge alone. Call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK Ohio for a free case review. Elk & Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Go Browns. One of the stars of this camp has been rookie tight end Harrison Bryant. He was a star in the shoe last fall. He will be a star at First Energy this fall. How big will that star be? How brightly will it shine? Well, that's to be determined, but he's earned a seat at the table. Here's Harrison Bryant from the podium from earlier today.
First of all, congratulations on winning the Maurice Bassett Award. And question to you is, how do you feel about that meaningful thing to you after what you've been able to do so far in this camp?
I mean, obviously, it's nice to like your work and stuff to be noticed, but it's practice, and that was my goal, was to just come out and show what I can do. Do whatever I can to make the team and help the team win, and I feel like I've done that so far, and I'm just looking to continue to improve every day, and just whenever I get my opportunities, the rest of the camp or whether that's in season, in the game, is to just go out and produce.
Hey Harrison, what are your conversations like with Austin Hooper? Like, what are you picking his brain about?
Just really the little details. Everyone in the tight end room has been extremely helpful so far. Throughout camp, really welcomed me with open arms. So far it's been really good. Just picking their brain about the little details of route running, technique within blocking, and so far all the stuff I've picked up from them, and they've came over and talked to me about it. It's really helped out.
Hey Harrison, what areas do you think if there's like maybe one or two things you think you improved on the most in the last 3 weeks or so?
For me, the biggest thing was just technique within the new concepts and new schemes of everything I was learning. The biggest thing for me was just coming in mentally prepared, knowing what to do, and then really the techniques and stuff came along with more reps and stuff within practice. So that was my biggest thing, was just really focusing on fundamentals within run blocking and the details of just a little route, intricacies, and Hooper and everyone in the tight end room has really helped me out, as well as Coach Petzing. So it's been really eye-opening, and I've learned a lot of stuff throughout.
Harrison, thanks and congratulations. I'm sure you came into camp with some idea and some imagination as to what it would be like to play tight end in the NFL. So how has what's transpired been different than what you expected?
I've talked to a lot of people before I came in. My high school coach, he played in the NFL, he played fullback. It's different than tight end, but it's similar. So, kind of had an idea of, what the little details were and what I needed to do when I came in. And, it's been different than what I expected, but at the same time, similar. It's been really fun so far, and I'm just trying to improve every day and really just do whatever I can to help the team win.
Joe Bitonio just had some really good things to say about you, and one of the first things he said was that you don't say much, which is always good for a rookie. Was that kind of your mindset as well, just to come in and do your job?
Yeah, I feel like that's one of my foundation things, is just, go in, head down, and go to work. And, I felt so far that, I've done that, just came in, worked, keep to myself, and, just go out and just do whatever I can to help the team win.
Hey, Harrison, what kind of an offensive lineman were you when you played on that position? And has any of that helped you learn, as a run blocker at the NFL training camp level?
In high school, I played offensive tackle, and some of that stuff translate over, just little details and stuff. But it's a lot of different schemes and a lot of different personnel that you're blocking. So a little carries over, but I would say it's a new learning curve and a lot of new details that I've had to learn and continue to learn.
I was kind of interested in that part too, Harrison, is the bodies you're blocking at the NFL level. I mean, how much different is that? And Joel said, you're not as big as some of the other tight ends. Does that make it that much difficult for you?
Yeah, obviously every day during camp, going against extremely talented defensive ends, D linemen, a great linebacking core. So, it's challenging every day, and I'm just looking to, continue to improve in that aspect of my game. And, the biggest thing with blocking that I think is, the biggest part of it is just being willing and just going in there and sticking your head in there, because a lot of the times you're out man, just with the defensive ends in this league. So the biggest thing is just will, and then continuing to pick up on those little details and techniques that, will help you just stay in there and continue to fight.
And you told Tom that the NFL experience has been different than you expected. How so?
I would say like similar but different, just in the terms of, this is a different year for us, rookies coming in, all the guys that you usually talk to, they've had a different experience with not having COVID and stuff. So it's just a learning curve and stuff for us. But it was the hand we were dealt. So just coming in and making the most of it. And for me personally, it was just all about coming in every day, doing whatever I can to make the team and help the team win.
That's an amazing line. Do whatever he can to make the team and help the team win. He's going to do more than make the team. He's going to be a part of this offense. He's earned a seat at the table in that aspect. He's a brilliant, bright future going forward. And he's somebody that, as we got around to grading the draft, the people who watched the tape loved him. And that's always a good sign when the tape people love him.
Of course, and he's a guy. Look, the guy was the Mackey Award winner. He was a top tight end in college football. First time it ever happened with a non-Power 5 tight end. So very, very talented, and the Browns got a break. He's one of those guys that none of his measurables stand out, and sometimes you get lost in that in the combine process. But what you got was a stud football player in the fourth round, and you're right. Make the team, help him win. He says all the right things. Drew Petzing said he's one of the hardest workers he's ever been around. And that's why he's been able to pick up so many things. Coach Stefanski said this morning, we've asked him to do a lot of different things, and he's handled them all. And we can't throw anything at him that fools him from an assignment standpoint because he's been so good in his playbook.
Yeah. No, he's in it. He's on it. It's been an absolutely beautiful thing. So a bit of information. We said that Miles was abundance of precaution. He's out there now. We saw from the video team tweeting that out. So he's out there now, and off he goes.
Out and off he goes indeed. Number 95 looking good, as we told you on this show. When you pay attention to the scores, zero concern. There's
None.
The evidence. Back out there at practice, getting ready as the Browns this will be the first practice to begin their preparations for the Baltimore Ravens in the 2020 season.
I was thinking about, and I'm not suggesting that he's going to be this good this quickly, but I was thinking about Harrison Bryant, and I don't know why, but the guy I always think of is Brent Jones, who was so great for the 49ers for all those years.
Yep.
Do you know where Brent Jones was drafted without looking?
No.
Do you have any guess?
I'm going to guess he was drafted in a round that doesn't even exist anymore.
No, not quite, but it's the reason I probably oversold that to make you think that it was that. He's 5th round pick.
Okay.
And 135th overall in the 86th draft by the Steelers actually drafted him, which I was unaware of. But that is that sometimes you can have guys that fall there in that spot, and there's just something about the way that Bryant gets open, and I think of those guys in the 80s who were just those security blanket guys. Novacek comes to mind. I'm not saying he's going to have a career like that or that should be the expectation, but just the way he goes about. Todd Heap is another one that was just always there around.
You. Wesley Walls.
Wesley Walls, there's another one, yeah. Nice security blanket guys who are just always find those open slots and get open, and it works out very well for him. A couple of Pro Bowls in there. I could see Harrison Bryant having
Wesley Walls
very similar.
5-time Pro Bowler. I would not have had that. Obviously, very productive. With
more than Brent
Panthers
Jones too on that,
and the 49ers. Yeah, how about that?
I would not have had that. How many Pro Bowl? Let me check Novacek because I kind of lump all those guys. Brent Jones had the better career than Novacek.
I would think so because you have to remember those Dallas teams didn't throw the ball a ton.
Yeah, and he actually didn't even get to Dallas until he was 28. He did although Novacek did make 5 Pro Bowls and 1 first-team All-Pro.
5 Pro Bowls.
But he was with Phoenix and the Cardinals before.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were his career receiving yards and touchdowns?
46-30 on the yards, 30 touchdowns. Career.
Walls was 5,354.
Yeah.
Wow.
Walls might have been the most statistically accomplished of that era.
Yeah.
Because that was before the Tony Gonzalez,
yes,
it was
well
after Kellen Winslow, and then it was before Tony Gonzalez, Gronk, and it became a very different position.
He was with Steve Berline,
Antonio
Steve
Gates
Berline,
too.
Carolina teams.
Right. Yeah. Well, there you go. Lots more to come. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
This segment brought to you by Elk & Elk. Elk & Elk provides our injured clients the resources they deserve and the legal talent to go head-to-head with insurance companies and big corporations. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO.
Hey, what's up? It's Hammer. We're not going to be wearing masks forever, so why not take the time and treat yourself to better oral health, Go see Dr. Mickley. Get your smile ready for the world to see again. If you're missing a tooth, initial implant consultations, no charge. Comfort, quality, and care, what you can expect at Beechwood Dental. Check out the 5-star Google reviews from so many satisfied patients, or go see Dr. Mickley now and get your dental health right back on track. Online, you can check them out by going to beechwooddental.com.
This segment brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Before you shop anybody's furniture liquidation, compare Wayside Furniture's everyday low prices. 1367 Canton Road, just south of Route 224. Wayside in Akron, better furniture, priced lower.
Hey man, that is a sweet boat.
Thanks. Now I just need to figure out how to get it onto Lake Erie.
You need to go to Liberty Ford and check out their selection of SUVs.
Liberty's in Aurora, Maple Heights, Canton, Parma Heights, Brunswick, Vermilion.
Hey, what's up? It's Hammer here for NTB. Summer is coming to an end, but the hottest tire deals are just beginning at NTB, with Labor Day savings going on right now through September 7th. Visit NTB, buy 2 tires, get 2 free when you purchase a value installation package on 4 select tires. That is an amazing deal, but that's not all. Use your NTB store credit card, and you'll get an additional $75 mail-in rebate on purchases of $500 or more. That's right. Visit NTB this Labor Day. Buy 2 tires, get 2 free, plus $75 back after rebate. Summer just got a whole lot hotter with these Labor Day savings, so hurry into your neighborhood. National Tire and Battery today. Eligibility may vary. Charge for tire disposal and TPMS service where required. Shop fee of 10% based on regular retail price, not to exceed $35. Credit card offers subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. See participating store for details.
Hi, I'm Dr. Gordon Christensen. When I became a dentist, I learned how quickly poor oral health can lead to other serious health problems. And for people without access to care, these problems can spiral very quickly. I wanted to help, so I joined Dental Lifeline Network. Right now, there's a wait list for patients in need in your community. I'm asking fellow dentists who will join me in seeing 1 patient per year.
To learn more, visit willuc1.org.
Browns fans, you can now train like the pros at Browns Fit. Their 20,000 square foot state-of-the-art fitness facility is now open. Browns Fit creates a safe and healthy environment for members and guests and showcases the latest in innovative fitness technology. Today's hottest rest and recovery tools, personal training, proprietary classes, a nutrition bar, and more. Located in the flats of downtown Cleveland on the 2nd floor of the Aloft Hotel building. Specials for Browns Fit are available for a limited time. Visit brownsfit.com today to become a member and train like the pros.
Hey, it's Riz, Northeast Factory Direct. If you love a good deal, you got to get to Northeast Factory Direct. 5 huge warehouses filled with incredible deals on high-quality furniture, mattresses, hot tubs, swim spas, solid wood kitchen cabinets, and more. If you need any of these things, you'd be crazy not to go to Northeast Factory Direct. It's not a club, no membership fees, just high-quality items, and nicer than you'd find at expensive retail stores for about half the price. Tell them I sent you and get an extra special good deal.
For contest rules information for 850 ESPN Cleveland, please visit ESPNClevelandContests.com. That's ESPNClevelandContests.com for contest rules and information.
Hey, it's Chris Oldak of The Really Big Show, and you're listening to the home of the Browns, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Help Cleveland students start the school year off strong. Log on now to clevelandbrowns.com/supply drive to make a monetary donation to the Shoes and Clothes for Kids Remote Learning Back to School Drive, proudly brought to you by Ohio Cat and the Cleveland Browns Foundation. So the team out there practicing, of course, there will be no ability for us to see. We'll see the team on Friday, but the rest of this week will be done behind closed doors, Z.
Yeah, they're back into real season practice mode. This would be normally when training camp ends. There are a couple of weeks where they get ready for the season, and the media is no longer there. That's where we're at. In addition to Miles being at practice, I can tell you that B.J. Goodson is back at practice as well for the Browns.
So that is very, very good news. Still no Grady Williams on this front. Still no J.C. Treader. Kevin Johnson's still out. Who else am I missing other than the guys who are out for the year?
Greedy, MJ.
Mac's not out for the year, but obviously he would be there. Okay.
Yeah, I think just Greedy, MJ, and Kevin Johnson. Mac, obviously, would still be out.
And Treader.
That's it, I think.
Yep.
We'll see. We'll see if we get an update afterwards.
Yeah. Kind of see where you are in this point. And, yeah, it's a pretty remarkable thing that you're 9 days from the NFL and, 12 for us from playing a game, in Baltimore against the Ravens. And all of this practice will now start to hone in. And I would think from a player perspective, Z, there's just going to be such excitement to play a game. And I know that, the veterans aren't fans of preseason games, but it's still, you can see it, and you're on the sidelines, so you see this firsthand. Even if they get a series or two, there's some juice, and they haven't had that. So they're going to go from 0 to 90. When you don't play anybody, all of a sudden you play the Ravens. It's just going to be a crazy
in what'll
thing
be
in a couple of weeks on Sunday.
A bizarre environment, right? M&T Bank Stadium would normally be rocking. None of that.
Well, yeah. I mean, for obviously everyone that's listening will be watching it on television, and you'll be able to see, it'll probably hear relatively similar.
Probably sound similar, which will be odd, knowing similar. When you look around. And that one, there are no fans. So
none.
It will be empty.
Yeah, it's wild. Going to be a fun week to get ready, culminating with that practice on Monday down at the stadium. We'll be with you every step of the way. The next level coming up next. Thanks for listening, guys. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You've been listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, a production of the Cleveland Browns and ESPN 850 WKNR.
Hey, Browns fans, if your game plan for this season includes buying or selling a home, we have you covered. Howard Hanna is the official real estate provider of the Cleveland Browns. Howard Hanna is the #1 real estate company in Ohio with over 60 local offices across the footprint. Howard Hanna delivers a winning strategy to help make your home ownership dreams a reality. Make your next move with confidence with their exclusive 100% money-back guarantee. Get in the game with Howard Hanna. We'll get you more.
At University Hospitals, your health and safety have always come first. UH Safe shows that commitment in action. Social distancing in all shared spaces, screening everyone who enters for symptoms or fever, and more. UH Safe means if you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get care at University Hospitals. UH Safe, protecting your health with science and compassion. University Hospitals. Visit uhhospitals.org.
The convenience stores of Speedway, proud to be a sponsor of the Cleveland Browns and your first choice for value and convenience. Whether you're tailgating before the game or watching the game at home, Speedway is always on your way. And Speedway has exactly what you need to enjoy the game. Snacks, beverages, everything in between. And nobody else but Speedway has a Speedy Rewards card. Start earning your points today. Speedway, proud sponsor of the Cleveland Browns.
We're on your way, the convenience stores of Speedway.
Hey, Browns fans, the Cleveland Browns 50-50 raffle has gone digital, and it's open online right now. Lucky fans all throughout Ohio can win big during training camp and support youth in our community this year. 50% of the jackpot goes to the winner, and the other half benefits the Stay in the Game Network and Shoes and Clothes for Kids, a Cleveland-based nonprofit organization. Some exclusions apply. Fans can purchase tickets now via the Browns mobile app or at browns5050.com. The raffle ends September 4th, so get your tickets today. The air in your home is filled with pollen, fine dust, bacteria, and viruses circulating between rooms and family members. Healthy air in your home means a healthier home for your family. Efficient air filtration, performed by the offering of patented Carrier air purifiers, filters out the pollen and dust while it also captures and kills airborne pathogens like bacteria and viruses. Contact your local Carrier dealer to learn more about the products available and what will be the best fit for you. Call 1-800-CARRIER to find the dealer near you.
Hi, my name is Kyle, and I'm a pharmacist at Discount Drug Mart, but that's not all I am. I'm a daughter, a wife, and a mother. I'm your neighbor, part of the community just like you. Drug Mart is part of the community too. They have been for more than 50 years. Now, more than ever in these challenging times, your neighborhood Drug Mart pharmacy, all of us, are here to help you. You can rely on us to go the extra mile, whatever you need, every time. I know in my heart that I can lean on my neighbors, and you can lean on Discount Drug Mart.
K&D proudly invites you to live at one of the 8 most desirable addresses downtown. Residences at Hannah, 668-1717, Leader, Halley, Reserve Square, and Stonebridge. Be among the first to live in Cleveland's most iconic landmark, the Terminal Tower Residences. Classic elegance meets unique contemporary design with thoughtfully composed kitchens, bathrooms, living spaces, and much more. Move in today. You deserve a K&D quality home. Check out everything K&D has to offer downtown and throughout Northeast Ohio at K&D.com.
Hey there, Browns fans. I'm Graham.
And I'm Fisk.
And we're the canned wine guys.
Yep, wine in a can.
100% award-winning California wine.
Shipped from Napa and Sonoma counties.
We've got a special treat for you thanks to our partnership with the Cleveland Browns.
We've got a limited